Ganesh, it's a pleasure to catch up with you here at Mobile World Congress on the Radisys stand. You know, you and I have been talking about Open RAN for 5-6 years now at this point. There's been so much work on making the interoperability work, making the performance up to par with integrated systems. Give us a little bit of overview of where we are today, what you see coming next.
Okay. First, a pleasure meeting you. Like we've been discussing over the years, the industry really has moved on in my view, Sean, because there was a moment of doubt and there was a lot of skepticism way back in 2019-20 that this will all work or not, and now we are seeing a real traction and real life examples of things working. O-RAN Alliance is doing this through PlugQuest, multiple vendor consortiums where we see the interoperability being established. A network like Dish, where it is multi-vendor and operational today, a live 5G network with multi-vendor. That's a live example of how things can be made to work in Open RAN. But having said that, it is still not a plug-and-play story, not a smooth and straightforward affair. We still need work, and the standards are being matured, more test centers are being established, vendors are being more and more proactive in their way of testing. And we would see that this is going to go into the next level of maturity, wherein the operators or the private network enterprises, whoever is buying the solution, can go with a certain level of faith that the basics work, maybe additionally whatever they need, fine tuning and performance oriented things, that's going to happen with additional effort. That's where we are.
And I know Radisys recently participated quite successfully in the 5G Challenge. Maybe tell us a little bit about the work that you all did there and what you learned from it.
Sure. We were in 2022, wherein our DU product was the winner in that category. This time the rules changed in 2023. It was CU and DU together as a system. And we went in with the CU and DU with a blind pairing with another third-party radio vendor, and we successfully completed all the stages and we won the grand prize. And having done this over the 2 years, the second year was more intense, and I would say the level of scrutiny in the number of stages of testing, the kind of test cases and the hardening which we had to do. Of course, we had to fix some issues as well, in interoperability especially, because the interpretation of some of these standards could be a little varying, whether it's 3GPP or O-RAN. And these are the learnings which we had, and then what we demonstrated at the end of this 5G challenge was the first ever probably the mobility or handover scenario between two different Open RAN vendors, and that was seen as a milestone, as a highlight of that event.
And then I also wanted to catch up with you following the acquisition of Mimosa and the integration of it into the company. Where are you today? How does it sort of change the value proposition?
Right. So Radisys, if you look at it, we're going up one level above in providing a unified access strategy to all our customers, whether it's a rural customer or a mid-tier operator or a tier 1 operator operating macro network. We have solutions for them either in the cellular 5G or a broadband connectivity using the PON technology, or in some cases it is the unlicensed Wi-Fi, both as a point-to-point and point-to-multipoint solution, covering both household needs and as a backhaul as well. So it nicely fits into our portfolio, and we are now able to offer a unified portfolio of access to our customers.
And you know, not everybody is at Mobile World Congress, although there's certainly a lot of people here and a lot of people in the stand, but for those not able to join us, can you take us through some of the themes that your demonstrations in the booth speak to?
Very good. So ours is a very diverse portfolio, and when we talk about access, we talk about three pillars. One is the 5G or the cellular part of it, the RAN, and the core network for the private network as well. We have demos for that, wherein we have the CBRS solution working, and we have an IAB internet access backhaul solution for specific tactical communication, and the macro mobility solution as well. And having done all of these things, and the demonstrations are available here, we are also focusing on the other types of access, the PON access, especially the 10G PON, and our unlicensed Wi-Fi products are also on display. And having enabled this transport or connectivity layer, we're also looking at enabling the digital experiences through our media and devices offering. In the media side, we have new offering of solution wherein we can enhance the level of communication, either in translating in real time or enhancing communication for audio impaired situations, wherein our solution can come in and solve that problem. And the wide variety of devices which we have, through which we can prove all of this being available for end-to-end connected experiences, and that's the enhanced digital experience we want to give it to our users.
And as I've walked around the FIRA today, there seems to be a good deal of emphasis on sustainability, bringing in system-level energy efficiency, reducing power consumption, and this has OpEx implications, obviously, but the bigger picture is that globally we're working towards net zero targets that have been well-defined and well-articulated. Maybe just give us a little insight into how you see this taking shape in telecoms broadly, and more specifically what Radisys is doing.
Sure, especially in the wireless network, and this is thought to be a primary problem for the operators in operating the power-hungry 5G networks, right? Especially the radio equipment and the base station. All of these consume higher power in 5G, and we are addressing in two parts. One at the base station and with the radios. And in base station, we are able to work with our partner Intel to have the energy switching based on the traffic load condition. The processors can switch to a lower energy state. This is one implementation we have been highlighting in both cloudified implementation and a non-cloudified implementation as well. And we'll be showcasing this in future trade shows as well. And in fact, this is an ongoing collaboration with Vodafone, the lead operator for this energy saving study in the context of Oran Alliance Plugways. We are continuing that collaboration. And we are also looking at additional savings by timing it with the radio and a time-based switching on and off, the traffic load-based switching on and off of the radio circuitry in the radios. That will give you additional gains. And this is a partnership that we have with the radio partners. So holistically, both from base station and the radio combined, we are able to show greater savings, at least in the range of around 20% to start with, and the higher level of savings can be achieved based on the actual traffic conditions.
And then last question here, Ganesh. You know, if we assume a typical 10-year G cycle, we're roughly at the midpoint in 5G. So how are you thinking about what's next in terms of 5G advanced, maybe even 6G, and this longer move towards disaggregation, decentralization, and cloud native?
Yeah. So the releases from 3GPP, release 18 onwards, it's called officially the 5G advanced release of 3GPP. And we are already implementing those things, and those are some of the newer features on the satellite communication and more MIMO related and mobility related optimizations. We will be incorporating all those into our product. But in the longer term view of a permanent theme of how the network is evolving, the radio network, we're going to see more application of AI. So we are talking about AI native radio access network, AI coming into picture for the layer 2 functions, the layer 1 physical layer functions. How do we intelligently control the traffic, radio resource management, interference, and all these aspects, and all the elements except probably the radio being cloud native. So AI native, cloud native, a high level of automation driven by the RIC and X apps. This is what we are seeing as the future of evolution, and these elements will be built into the 6G standard, wherein all of this will be there. And the one unknown question or uncertain part is the frequency spectrum for 6G, which will be standardized. But other parts of the network architecture are slowly evolving, and Open RAN will be the fundamental of 6G.
Sounds like the best is yet to come, Ganesh. It's such a pleasure to catch up with you and have you share your perspective with our audience.
Thank you.
Thank you.